right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about CleanSpark. They're a Bitcoin mining company, stock ticker CLSK. They put out their monthly operational report for the month of April, so I want to go through that. They've also made several major changes in the company since their last operational report back in March. So 2023, things are starting to come into clarity. We're getting a lot more action in the Bitcoin mining companies, both operationally and from a stock price standpoint. So I look forward to each one of these monthly updates, and CleanSpark is a top 3 Bitcoin miner in almost every way that you can measure it. So this is one of the big ones. So let's take a look at CleanSpark and let's go through their monthly operational report. Okay, so CleanSpark closed at $4.20 at the end of the trading day on Friday. That was May 5th. So you'll see they're at a $327 million market cap. That is way off of their lows, and it's much, much less than their peers compared to Marathon and Riot. If you enjoy this content, please remember to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and hit the notification bell. Still, about half of our viewers are not subscribed. It does help the channel out a lot, so I would appreciate it if you guys would hit the subscribe button. Okay, so here's the report. CleanSpark releases April 2023 Bitcoin mining update. Company mined 524 Bitcoin in April, increased Bitcoin holdings 60%. Now it's only to 313 Bitcoin. This is not a HODL company. They've taken the strategy of selling their Bitcoin to pay for operations and to some extent pay for their massive growth. This is the highest growth Bitcoin mining company out of all of the 18 that I track over the last 12 months. But having said that, that only leaves them with 313 Bitcoin. So again, that's a part of the balance sheet difference between Marathon and Riot. CleanSpark today released its unaudited Bitcoin mining and operations update for the month ended April 30th, 2023. Quote, our high efficiency measures and low power rates have made meaningful contributions to our margins this month, even as difficulty has substantially increased. So we know they all mined less in the month of April than they did in the month of March. There's only one Bitcoin miner that to any material amount mined more Bitcoin in April than March, and that was Iris Energy. I did do a deep dive on that. You can see a link to that over my shoulder right now if you want to check that out. They had substantial growth in the month of April. Other than that, all of the top Bitcoin miners actually had a reduction in the amount of Bitcoin that they mined, which makes sense because at the end of March and then both times in April, there was some significant difficulty level increases. Of course, as the Bitcoin difficulty level goes up, it's harder and harder to mine Bitcoin, so you mine less Bitcoin if you're at the same exahash. And this is another piece of CleanSpark's puzzle. They're having a 2 or 3 month window here where they're at about 6.7 exahash, and that's not changing. Now, they do have plans to get to 9 exahash and then to 15.9 exahash. So those are coming up. So they're going to have 1 or 2 months here where they go a little sideways, and then I would expect their Bitcoin mining number to go up. As an aside, YouTube revenue is down significantly in 2023. So if you want to support the channel, you can join the channel and become a member by hitting the join button. It's right next to the subscribe button. It's only $5 a month, and it does support the channel and helps keep me do this on a daily basis. So if you enjoy this content and you're interested in supporting, then I would appreciate it. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of the members very much for your support. It's much appreciated, and also to welcome any new members. So thanks again, dramatically. But you can see also they're saying right here, they're focusing on efficiency measures and low power rates. So that is going to become more and more important. This is getting very competitive. Some of the newer Bitcoin mining companies are going to challenge these existing companies on their cost per coin. So this is key that they continue to make improvements on that field. So just to look at mining efficiency, and this is just simply the number of Bitcoin mined in the month divided by the amount of exahash the company had hashing during the month. Some of these companies actually report this in specific on their monthly updates. Others I have to just calculate. So you're going to see these top 4 have differentiated themselves. This was the month of March. When I do April, and there's only one Bitcoin miner left to report, and I'll be able to do this for April as well, you're going to see CleanSpark is number 4, but it's very, very close to number 1. These 4 companies have stood out, and they are going to stand out again in the month of April. So once again, this leaves them in top 3, top 4, top 5 Bitcoin miner, almost any way that you slice it. So they're still very efficient. Now, their efficiency did go down to 78, but 81, I believe, is going to be the highest efficiency level in the month of April. So that's down from 91 in the month of March, and that is strictly a function of the fact that the difficulty level went up significantly, and so you're going to see the efficiency rates going down correspondingly. Okay, this is a chart of Bitcoin mined by month for CleanSpark in specific. So you can see last April they mined 313 Bitcoin. This April, they mined 524 Bitcoin. So they're up substantially. In 2023, they've been posting much bigger numbers than they did in 2022. And like I said, they're taking a little bit of a pause here at 6.7 exahash, but by June 30th, they're talking about being at 9 exahash. I think we'll start to see these numbers trend in the right direction and get larger and larger for the rest of the year. So overall, I'm going to take a look at the month of March, and then we'll talk about April. You can see CleanSpark was third place in the month of March with 598 Bitcoin mined. That was behind only Riot and Marathon. So they have been in number 3 for quite some time. They have in the past got as high as number 1 on this chart, but these top 3 seem to be locked in for the time being. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of year left. CleanSpark put out a press release. CleanSpark to double its Bitcoin mining capacity with a 144.9 million expansion deal. They're going to add 6.3 exahash, I believe. It's the Antminer S19 XPs, which are more energy efficient. To my knowledge, those are the most energy efficient ones on the market right now. So they're going to double their fleet essentially from here with machines that are even more efficient. So hopefully that will continue to help them keep their cost per coin down. They're all supposed to be delivered by the end of September and installed and operating by the end of the year, December 31st. So we'll see if they can stick to that. That's an aggressive plan to get all the way to essentially 16 exahash by the end of the year, but that is what they said they were going to do at the end of last year. That was the goal they set for this year, and it looks like they're on track to do that as long as they can execute the plan that they've laid out. So that will be the other big thing we'll be paying attention to. Are they staying on track with the things they've talked about? So by June 30th, I would expect to see them at 9 exahash or very close to 9 exahash because those 20,000 machines have already been delivered, and they're expecting to have them up and running by the end of June 30th. So if we just take a look at cost per coin, this was as of December 31st. That was the most recent financial statements. That's one of the reasons I'm very excited for the next couple of weeks. We're going to get a bunch of financial statements from several of these Bitcoin mining companies, and we're going to get to see how they performed in the first 3 months of 2023 and where their cost per coin is compared to where it was. So you can see, once again, CleanSpark is in the top 3. As of December 31st, 2022, they were in third place at about $13,000 a coin. So we'll see if they were able to maintain that or maybe even lower that cost per coin. Now, the difficulty level is going up, so theoretically, all other things being equal, it should be getting more expensive to mine the next coin. But I do know all of these companies are focused on taking measures to keep this cost down. So that's what I'm going to be most interested in. It's the most telling thing that we're going to find out, in my opinion, by these financial statements. These monthly operational reports give us most of the rest of the information to see where everybody's at, but the direct costs and obviously the overhead costs, those are a couple of things that we only get on a quarterly basis when they put out their financial statements. So looking forward to seeing that and updating this chart as well. Here's CleanSpark from January 1st through the end of April. That's the first 4 months of the year. CleanSpark stock was up 92%. So that seems fantastic, and it is fantastic. But you're going to see it leaves them very near the bottom of the list for all the Bitcoin miners that I follow. Again, there's 18 Bitcoin miners. Bitcoin itself was up 77%. So CleanSpark's not getting much leveraged on this at all so far. I think there's a lot of room for them to make up. If you look at the two companies that are ahead of them in market cap, Marathon's up 194% this year versus CleanSpark's 92%, and Riot's up 253% this year versus CleanSpark's 92%. And I would argue that CleanSpark has had more impressive operational reports this year, so I do think they have maybe another double coming. We'll take a look at the charts and talk about that in a minute. Okay, so this is CleanSpark on the one-day time frame. So you're going to see, I want to look at a couple of numbers and a couple of potential price targets. I want to put on 2 lines that I have on every single one of my Bitcoin miner charts. You're going to see a blue line here. So this is where CleanSpark was when Bitcoin hit 25,000 in February of 2023. Now, the last time Bitcoin hit 25,000 prior to that, you have to go all the way back to August of 2022. So this green line is where CleanSpark was when Bitcoin was at $25,000 in August of 2022. So the main thing I'll say is CleanSpark is a drastically bigger company today than they were at that point, And Bitcoin is now around $29,000 versus $25,000. So Bitcoin is up, the size of CleanSpark is up, their production is up, they have huge plans going forward. I am optimistic, I'm bullish on CleanSpark. So obviously, this is not financial advice. You guys got to do your own due diligence and decide how you feel on CleanSpark. This does tend to be a controversial one. There's a few things that really tend to bother some investors, so I'm not going to get into that in this video. I've talked about it at great length in other videos, but I like management's plans. So again, not financial advice, but let's talk about some potential price targets here. So the first thing is you'll see they are now higher than they were back in February when Bitcoin was at 25,000. Now that makes sense because Bitcoin's now at 29,000. However, some of the other Bitcoin miners are not yet even back to this blue line. So my first real price target here is just to get back to where they were last August when Bitcoin was at $25,000. That would be about a 62 or 63% increase in the price of Bitcoin. So that is my shorter term goal. I think that's a realistic goal. If Bitcoin can take the next leg up to, break through that $31,000 mark, I don't see why CleanSpark wouldn't jump up to this number. So, that's a 30, 60, 90-day potential price target. A little longer term price target, this is where CleanSpark was back in the end of March of 2022. So that is just over 1 year ago now. So if they could get back to that point, and this would require Bitcoin getting a little healthier, maybe running up to between $35,000 and $38,000, and I think it would also require CleanSpark to stay on the plan that they've been talking about, hit all of their targets and goals, and we see the progression in their company as well. So, those are some major factors, but this would be a 233% increase. So I do think this is a reasonable price target. We saw that Riot and Marathon have already done a bunch of this run up. So CleanSpark tends to be lagging behind. Now, they did not fall as much as some of the other companies from the top, but I do think they're lagging behind. They did get to an extremely oversold price. They're only a $300 million company right now, whereas their competition is pushing $2 billion. So to me, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Again, there should be some discrepancy because of the balance sheet, but I think there's an easy chance for CleanSpark to double or triple, in the next 12 months, let's say. Now, again, not financial advice, that's my opinion. And as always, we need to look at the downside. If Bitcoin does not get healthy or CleanSpark fails to deliver on their promises, CleanSpark would have to pull back 61% just to get back to where they were only 4 months ago in December. So here we're staring at another equation. There's 61% downside to get back to their recent lows, and maybe a 200+% upside to get back to their highs from just over a year ago. So please be very careful. As always, all these Bitcoin mining companies are extremely volatile. If you made it this far, please remember to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.